to get out of the brace. Big boss, on top, my shit won't flop. I go past, I don't stop. I hit that dash, I won't stop. Her ass on fat, it gon' pop. That cover dry, it gon' pop. My new Likens damn well cost you everything you own. I love my haters every day, they clicking on my songs.
What's going on, everybody? This is the show where the goal is to talk about things that we did not learn in high school, in primary school. And the goal is to just help give value to Bahamians, people in the Caribbean, anybody watching really that could take the information and do something better with it, that's curious about entrepreneurship, money, whatever it may be, starting your business, whatever. So what we got going on today, man?
All right, so starting us off, when starting a business, what's the difference between owning your own business and then being employed at a company? What's the difference between those two? What do, like, the mindset? Let's start with the mindset first.
The mindset. Well, you know, crazy nowadays, everybody wants to have their own business.
Yeah.
Or at least let's just say, not like after COVID, but during COVID, everybody had their own business. So let's kind of like
I was one of them, B.
dive into the mindset of what it is to be, I guess, employed, to having a 9-to-5 or whatever it may be, versus having your own thing going on, you got your own business, etc. Right? The number one thing that people have to understand is the position of it. The mindset is completely different. When you own your own business, you live in a whole entire next world. Versus when you work for a 9-to-5, your life is simple. You're like, not simple. You go through a lot of stress. You got people in the office you may not like. You got tasks that you may not want to do.
This is the mindset of the business owner.
No, but this is the mindset of the person that's employed. So when you work for a 9-to-5, you know, you have tasks that you may not do. You have people you may not like. You only have an hour for lunch or whatever it may be. You got 2 weeks. Some people got more a year. Some people got a year off. And the environment of it all is, look, at the end of the day, you have somebody that's going to surely give you a check at the end of the month. Somebody's going to say, hey, here's your $1,000, $500, $1,500, $2,000, $10,000, whatever it may be. Somebody's going to pay you at the end of the month. The mindset of that is a mindset of comfort. I mean, at the end of the day, the reason why you work is to be comfortable. I mean, it's not a risk-taking mindset. And I would go as far as to say, people have to understand that you are still taking a risk. You're just not taking as much of a risk as somebody that's starting their own thing. But it's a very comfortable mindset where somebody is just like, all right, well, you know, I know that here for sure, this is the policy. This is what I'm getting. This is my box. Nothing is, I'm not gonna, well, hopefully if I'm doing every single thing right, I'm responsible, I do my task on time, etc. I'm not gonna wake up one day and, you know, not have a job or whatever it may be, unless something has gone wrong or something has affected the business. But if once I'm doing everything right, nothing is going wrong externally, I should be able to have this check at the end of the month, pay these bills, do this, do that, the next, whatever it may be. Now, incredibly, to touch on that is like, when you look at it from the comfortable perspective, when you are working for somebody, when you're employed somewhere, let's just say, hey, I work at a food store. I can use general industries because anybody can be listening from anywhere. I work at a food store. I work at a hair salon. I work at a chartering company. I work at a restaurant, etc. Right? When I walk into those, and those are high expense businesses, each one of them. You know what I mean? And things have to be bought. Inventory has to be there. You know, you have a lot of drama going on during the day. Businesses, people may be getting sued. Anything could be happening on a daily basis, right? What I have to understand now is that working for any of those industries or in any of those companies, etc., I don't have to worry about expenses. I don't have to worry about expenses. I don't have to worry about insurance. I don't have to worry about getting sued. I don't have to worry about my place burning down. I don't have to worry about any of that stuff. All I have to worry about is going there, doing my tasks, clocking in every single day, and getting my check. So the mentality of a person that's working and does not have their own business, or maybe has their business on the side, but is working, let's just say the people that are employed, don't have a business, don't have a side hustle, is that you're safe. And for the bigger aspect of it, you are safe. You don't have to worry about anything. I will receive an income. And it's something that I had to learn when I first got into business from one of my advisors on my board of advisors, right? It's something he said that I thought was very interesting. He said, look, you could be the you could be the CFO or the COO of a big company. You could be the COO of Google, right? Or whatever it may be. But the CEO, the founder, the majority shareholder, that person who started that thing or built that thing, whatever company it is, or has been building that thing, even if you were the second-hand man the whole entire time, it will not be as easy as you think to wake up tomorrow and start the same business and succeed in it. Why? Because now switching over to the mindset of the person that has to start their own company, you actually own the company. So you don't have this box that you're safe in. Your box is now a whole entire world, because I have to look at and manage your box. I have to look and manage his box. I have to look and manage everybody else's box to be like, all right, you know, all of this has to be safe. And then I have my own box that I don't know what the hell going on at any given month. I may get sued. I may have extra expenses. I may have to go and deviate outside of a budget that I thought the company would have had. Anything is possible to happen in my box, but I have to make sure in order for everybody else to be happy, your box stays the same.
So what do you think from the employee aspect, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think they see when they look at their boss? Is it a glamorous life filled with gold, glitter? Like, what do you think their perspective is when they look at their boss, when they come in after probably coming in late potentially, and like having to basically bow down because they see that person as their leader,
The person that,
you know, who they serve indirectly.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you think they see?
I mean, when you think about it, right? I mean, I feel like one of the biggest things that I really want to get young people attached to, like, over the next year, right? We're young, you know what I mean? Like, I'm young. I've been privileged to have the board of directors I have, mentors that I have, board advisors that I have internationally and also here. And I've learned a lot through it. But I've learned, when it comes down to the directors that we have here, I've learned a lot about history, right? Now, one of the biggest things that, you know, we have to understand is that we're not too far away from slavery. You know what I mean? Like, even after independence, there was still a lot of things going on that people wouldn't be happy about today. Now, we grew up differently where we're a little bit more open to a lot of different things, but one of the biggest things that I think that we need to understand is the slavery mindset, right? Now, when it comes down to slavery, right? During slavery, when you look at it, what used to happen was, you know, you had someone who used to, obviously you had to work, but essentially you were a slave, you were owned, and you were working, and you had side houses, you had to use the bathroom all the slaves used the bathroom. You were punished if you didn't do a task properly or whatever it may be, and you were fed like you were in prison, basically, you know what I mean? Like, but nowadays, that's why everyone calls the work environment modern day slavery, because now you don't have the home or the shelter that they would have had. You don't have access to, and you may in your environments, but you don't have access to free food every single day and all these things. You got to go out there and purchase your food, cook at home, whatever it may be, pay for your own shelter, all this other stuff. But you know that as long as I work to make the world, the economy better, whatever it may be, the Bahamas better, the Caribbean better, I will have a job and someone will give me income and I'll be able to take care of my children's school fee or whatever it may be. And due to the responsibility or the job that I may have, because of the skills that I have invested in myself, whether it's education, college degree, whatever it may be, I can now afford more because I have a bigger responsibility, and the company that I work for makes more money. I help the company make more money, so I'm now accessible to, my kids could go to private school maybe, or my kids could go to college, etc. So, but people do, like you say, have the mindset where it's like, I come in, I'm an employer, and depending on, I'm an employee, and depending on where my my level is on that food chain, I may be looking at my boss. Like, if I am a secretary, I may be looking at my boss who gets to drive their nice Mercedes or whatever it may be to work and say, man, his life is better than mine. Or I may be looking at the CEO or president of the company that gets driven to work and be like, babe, he don't understand my struggles and this and that. But people don't understand that they've never been in that situation to understand how much that person is either in pain or has to go through, or sacrifices or whatever it may be. So sometimes you do have a lot of people who look at other people like, man, they don't understand, or I go into this and not the next. And to that, personally, I would say I wish a lot of people would stop playing that victim role. everybody got problems. Everybody got shit going on in their life. Like, get over it. You know what I mean? Like, you work on your boss is not going to change your wife or your husband leaving you. Your boss is not going to change the fact that you decided to go away on 2 trips and you can't afford your children's school fee this month. Your boss is not going to change the fact. And if you do have a good leader, maybe that's somebody that cares. But in a lot of companies that we have in our environment, a lot of times, and I've met a lot of CEOs or leaders that do care, but a lot of times, most of the guys don't give a crap. You know what I mean? They're just like, all right, well, that's your vibe.
I think because it's harsh. Every time I envision running my business, is an element of trying to create some type of empathetic path between or relationship between you and your employees. However, as you said, everybody has problems, and I don't control some of the decisions that causes you to be distraught or to bring that attitude to work or to have a level of laziness you may display on the job, whatever it is. I don't control that mindset. So when you talk about some CEOs just not caring, is a sad reality too, that even though we want the best, that's something the person has to want for themselves. So where would you draw the line between being understanding to your employees and then saying like, hey, I ain't really hearing it, do what you gotta do?
I think that comes down to something that you know, in our office we touch on a lot more. I mean, everybody is young, and everybody is very flexible, gets to do their own thing and everything like that. But I feel like, you know, I've made it clear over time that what our core values are, right? Like, if everybody in here pushes and strives for excellence, everyone in here pushes to strive and understand, like, hey, these are our core value for the company. This is where we want to be. We just know that, and it's something that I talk about all the time. And it's kind of crazy that I used to say. It's just like, hey, every time I want to have a conversation, I want to have a conversation about this one thing, this mission that we have in our company. Obviously, it's good to be friendly and have friendship and create a family, because that's what it truly really is. But when you look at it, in most places, that's not a reality, because a lot of times,
is it the quantity? Yeah,
people don't have the chance to even create that family environment. Then you have to understand too. You have to have a certain type of team to even want to do that. Because if I get you too much into my life, you're gonna, like you said, you're gonna start hating, or you're gonna look at this. And I've worked hard, but I think the biggest thing is that people have to understand. Look, there's a certain way you go about saying it. You don't go about it in a way where you're entitled to it. Because if you have a problem, and you working for a business, you work for Super Value, you got a problem, you watch your boss walk inside, you don't look at him and say, hey, you have to fix this vibe for me. You don't do that. You have to be able to find a way that's suitable, that comes across in a way where I now have the decision to help you.
No, it's crazy that you said that, because I think that interaction opens up a bigger question where at home, what is the communication like that brings me to work? That has me at work feeling so entitled to like communicate certain small things like that to my boss.
Yeah.
But that goes into my question of saying that, sorry, I'll do that over. It's crazy that you said that, because it opens up a bigger conversation. Yeah. When you feel the need to be so entitled, and that's just both relationships back and forth. So employee to employer back to employee. How do you stay, or what tools do you need to have an effective communication with your employees? Because communication is a hard thing off the simple fact of anything could affect it. I could come from a shitty day from home. I may start the morning off wrong. Things may not be going my way. I might have been stuck in traffic, or I just come to work hungry. You may not understand me, but you're telling me to do this before you even ask me or how my morning was, right? But you as a boss, you may not even care about that. I just want my work done. Fine, cool. But how do you know when I need to insert my empathy in this situation? And how do I know, like, the sternness of it, meaning that it's not coming off that type of way? is it an element of just you reading and understanding, or understanding yourself and your situation before you get into a business? Like how does that operate for you?
I think it's the objective from a leadership standpoint. So let's just say Bahamians decided, look, okay, instead of me having this relationship or doing it this way or having all this other stuff, let me just focus on not, because when you start to think about it, everyone's going to have a different day. You're going to come in with this, or like you say, whatever it may be, right? Now, the problem is with that is, or the way that I would solve that, or the way that I do solve it is, every single time everyone comes in the office, obviously, everyone's different. So the way that you may be, like Alex may not be, or, you know what I mean? Like Josh may have, everyone's different. So the way that I kind of look at that is, once I focus on empowerment, I think that that's the biggest thing. So it's just like, all right, well, if I focus that every single day you come in here and sit down, I empower you in some type of way. I help you get closer to what your goals are. Now, that's like why when we initially started putting together a team and everyone was getting on board and stuff like that, my biggest thing to when it was much smaller to y'all, because you were first in there, was what are your goals? What do you want to do? What do you want to do outside of this? What do you like to do? Like, and I find ways to empower you. And obviously, as we grow more, hopefully, it's not something that I would personally be like talking to everybody and stuff like that. It's not realistic. But more or less, like, how do I now make sure that you are empowering others? Like, you take that same trait as me.
How do you still feel a part of the whole? I think that's what you're trying to say.
Yeah, like, and how do I touch you so that you empower the people that you like? Because then it comes into a thing where you come into an environment and you're safe. You feel like you could talk to people. You feel like you could do whatever you want to do. You feel like you don't have to stress about, oh, I have to ask him. Like, you don't have that. Nobody has that in here. Everyone's like, yo, I could talk to anybody about anything. Like,
yeah.
But that's because we all empower each other. That's because our core values are like, hey, we're a Bahamian company that we just want everyone to be excellent. Like, we all want to be 40 and at X. I want everybody. I want everybody in here to be able to send their kids to whatever college they want to, and we need to be able to grow into this thing over the next 20 years that makes, and not just us. You go out there. Once you're empowered, you empower your sisters, your parents, etc.
Yeah.
And then once you come in here, you don't come in here with the trauma type mindset or traffic was this. You came in here like, I'm happy to be to work. It's not a lot of work environments like that here in the country where you could,
even as an employee or as an employee, if you want to start your new business in the sake of an employee, or employee, you want to start another venture, right? Mm-hmm. What do you think gives you the most value out of what you're trying to do? Having a smaller team where you could keep that interpersonal relationship, or expanding? Especially with the time now, everything is digitized, so you don't really need some of the rules that we once needed. Depends
on how you look at it. Impact will always require people.
Yeah.
Like, so even if everything is tech-based or easier, or you could outsource whatever it may be, you still will always need people to start creating that impact. So let's just say I want to get into hair, right? And I'm thinking like, all right, I want to start a salon. I want to get into hair. I want to start a salon. I think I want to hire like 4 gals, 5 gals, right? Yeah, solid. That may be the direction that I want to head in. But then now it's like you say, the mentality that I take into that, being the owner versus the employees, the type of mindset that I have to take into it is just like, okay, what is it that's going to make them want to be here every day? That's going to make them want to be here? Like, if you listen to average Bahamian, you listen to average person in the Caribbean, they hate their job. They hate where they at. They hate what they got. So any single thing that you start, if you start something small and you even getting 2 people to help you, you need to be at best interest of those people. You don't need to be at best. And it's all about the vision of it. A lot of companies start today, or a lot of people start their companies, they don't have no vision. Mm-hmm. It's just like, all right, well, we can start a hair salon, and we can have this one hair salon and tell everybody in here 60. That shit don't make no sense. Instead of saying, hey, we're gonna start a hair salon, but I want everybody to grow into having their own salon in the next 10 years, we're gonna save towards this. We're gonna have actionable goals towards this thing. And y'all know that if y'all come and work for me today, the type of person I am, I will send you on trips to learn more about this. I'll show you how you can impact more people. I'll give you more skills. And I guarantee you that we'll work towards creating a bigger franchise. Maybe even, hey, you from Jamaica. It's cheap in Jamaica. It may cost $200,000 GMD to get into rental every single month in Jamaica. And that's X amount in NASA, if we're looking at sending over US dollars over there. I can help you start your why back in Jamaica because that's where you want to be. Like being able to understand what people want are and how you could impact those people and knowing how that will actually empower them to be greater. I think that if you had more leaders doing that, like then a lot more younger people or people in general be like, yeah, man, I come work for you. I do whatever. You know what I mean? But you have a lot of people who just work and like, shoot, I don't care where you be in the school, what you got going on. I just want to pay you. I just want you to do what you do. I ain't got no vision.
No, that's the thing, though. Even with that example that you give, the most important part that you're missing out is the ability to take risk. We could have the best vision possible.
Yeah.
And I mean, immaculate. However, if I take those same 5 gals and say, this is what I want for you, what's the point of doing all of that? They don't want that for themselves. They may want that right now. But what if it's you who's the visionary? And that's the thing. Trying to train visionaries or people, the person they need to be able to vision something before they do anything else. Because if you could vision something long enough, you can start planning just as long, right? However, like I said, so back to my point, you needing them to step up as visionaries is the first thing, because you could have that, sounds good, real plan, roadmap to decades.
Yeah.
But if they don't want that, and then things change, circumstances change, and then down to the bottom of it, money. Whereas, what's in it for me? Like, that's the mentality of today's society, because we are constantly being messed up.
But that's the difference between managers and leaders. So the goal of a leader is to keep people aligned to the vision. See, you don't have to be a visionary. When you met me or Brands or whoever, right? When everybody came in here, Alan, whoever, and everybody was here. I never
shout out to B, shout out to Brands.
Yeah, I never once said to B, bro, like, you know, you gotta have a vision for yourself. You this, that. Nah, I said, B, this is an opportunity, bro. You tell me what your box is. If B tell me, but I only wanna do X, B, you could do X, but let me show you what my X look like. And we could find a way to make our axes go together. Now, if B tell me, yo, I want to be able to start this and do this and that and the next and all this other stuff, my goal is to empower him so much over the next 10 years that he could do whatever the hell he want. You know what I mean? Like, but the idea of that don't have to be like, oh, B need to have a vision. He need to know exactly where he goes.
Oh, no,
because in reality of it, the only thing that we're placed on earth to do the same thing that plants do, grow.
Yeah.
The only thing that he needs to do when he comes into the environment is worry about growing. But my goal is as a CEO, leader, as a star, whoever, as a person as the head, my whole entire value to him is saying, babe, this is the vision for us.
Yeah, see, here's the thing. The reason why I'm saying training visionaries is so important, not training visionaries, but training those who you want to work with to become visionaries, is because, again, you said growth, meaning you don't stay at that same point much longer. And again, it comes to a point where I'm going to a rate where I may want to take things into my own action and still impact the business if I would like.
Yeah.
I may want to get a couple shares in it, or, you know, whatever you may decide. But you still want the best, to the point where if he was to go out on his own, he's able to reflect and say, this person has done this for me. And even if he hasn't done that, his work or his talent has expanded or has grown so much to where he now is able to come up with a vision for himself to say, I want to take it to the next level now. I think because growth, again, it doesn't stagnate. Ultimately, you catch that eye of saying that, hey, I think I'm catching a load of this. It's like I'm coming off the training wheels on the bicycle. You
know, and I think that this is important, because this definitely is a clip, by the way, right? I think this is important. And here's one thing that pisses me off about our culture, about being a Bahamian. At the end of the day, the problem is not black crab syndrome, right? people make it seem like black crab is a huge problem in the Bahamas. This person hating on this person don't want to see you grow. That's a bunch of bullshit. In my personal opinion, the problem is with the Bahamas is that we hate in the wrong way. We don't hate with objectives. We don't hate with drive. We don't hate with nothing. We just hate in the hate.
Yeah.
If we had a culture where, guess what? You're going to go out there. You're going to start your own thing. I might be a hater. You know what I mean? You got your business now. You're making your coin. You got your couple of brethren, couple of your homegirls. Everybody in your office, your team, they winning. I see you all out at the club. I see you in the bank. I see you traveling. I see you doing your thing. Now you're looking at this boy like, but this boy, if he come around me, I ain't giving him no help with this. He ain't getting no contract. He ain't getting this. He ain't getting that. That's BS. That's why our country don't grow the way it needs to be, because there's all this one little line of people doing what they got to do for each other. The problem is with that is that we supposed to be able to hate with objectives. I supposed to look at that boy over there with the gals and the dudes who set up, they making their money, they traveling, they doing this and this, and I supposed to be able to hate on them. But I supposed to be able to hate on them and say, I hating on this, but he got an office.
You get my vibe.
I hating on this, but he got a conference room. He sit too with his people. I hating on this, but he out there with his employees flying around, selling whatever he's selling, making corn, the hair, whatever it may be. I hating on this, but and he impacting, giving back. He doing charity stuff and all. I hating on this dude, but I need to hate on him and say I hate him. But now I gonna get my own office. I gonna get my own team. I'm going to try to be a better business person. Because we could lie to ourselves all we want, especially in our environment. The Bahamas itself, the Caribbean itself, businesses in the Caribbean are all in competition. People, I don't compete. I am good. I don't have any I ain't in competition with no. That's BS. That's BS that we tell ourselves to make us. Because if we look at the Bahamas and we look at telecommunication, right? If you have a live, you have BTC. Now they have a non-compete, so another company can't come in. I don't know if it's passed already or maybe. But imagine if a third company came in. That third company, in order to succeed, what would they have to say? We need to be the best telecommunications company here in the Bahamas. That's the only way to win. And that's not from a way of, like, obviously, like, that's a survival. In our country, we're so small. We got 400,000 people. You can't make $1 billion off of 400,000 people unless everybody want to give you coin. And even then, it don't even make sense for the economy. You have to be able to make money outside of that. But we're not, like I said, we're not looking at people and saying, hey, let me hate from a leader perspective, but let me lead people to a vision that competes with somebody else. On a world scale, to show Bahamians, because this dude over here, you don't know if he have clients in the States or this, that, the next, whatever. You hating some dude and you doing furniture, this next guy doing furniture. He get 10 places this month and you get 5. Now you hating on him. That's good because you in the same competition as him. But you shouldn't even just be hating with him. You should be humble enough to say, look, let me follow and learn from you. Let's be friends. Let's have conversations at the end of the day and see what you doing that I ain't doing so that I can grow. But to lead in a situation when people understand, when people want to start their work, when people want to get into industry, etc., people need to understand that leading is completely different from being employed. When you're employed, you want to start a business, you want to save up to your business, and you're already starting with the wrong mentality. I have to save to start this and take this risk and all that. Start it now. Start it while you're working.
So if I decide to say, okay, I want an exit plan, right? Mm-hmm. I'm uncomfortable where I'm at, comfortable with this paycheck, this income. Now, what a lot of people, I want people to understand too, and I don't think people think about it. You're gonna lose more before you win anything.
Oh, for sure.
And so this whole thing of saying that I'm uncomfortable with this paycheck, and me starting a business will improve my situation right away. You'll see worse than you was making before at the job.
Oh yeah, you can.
And so I think people need to understand exactly how deep in the losses you get before you even break even to start seeing profit. But I think, and that's why I wanted to ask you now, I feel as though it's true, mm-hmm. But do you think it's just a characteristic or a trait mm-hmm. that an entrepreneur has that separates a lot of people? Because anybody can feel as though they can be a boss, but everybody's not called to be a boss.
No, you really got to be.
So like, what is that trait like? If you could simplify it to one atom or one molecule to say what that one thing is that separates the room of bosses and the room of employees, what is that?
At the end of
To
the
you.
day, it's something I had to learn. It's not even a thing of execution. I think the biggest thing that you have to do to be a leader is truth. You have to live in truth. As people, as a nation, we live in lies. We lie that, I can start working out tomorrow, and then you start, I can start next year, but you living in lie, because you want to look better. That's why gals getting BBLs and they tits done, they ain't saying, let me go add more weight on me. Dudes trying to get a six-pack, dudes trying to get muscles, and then they'll say, I prefer to be bigger. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, we got to live in truth. You got to be able to, it's the simple thing of this. If I go to the gym and I know I have 10 reps to do, a real leader will do 10. A person that, and I speak on that from looking at people way higher than me, people with hundreds of millions of dollars that I know personally. Those dudes, they're going to run at 4 o'clock in the daytime, because a.m. in the morning, because they say they're going to run at 4 a.m. in the morning. They ain't going to wake up like 6, like, man, I could do it tomorrow. No. They live in day in, day out. They live in the truth of, I want to be a better person. I want to be able to be honest to myself. I want to be able to be honest to everybody around me. And I want to be able to create something understanding the truths of everything. Not, my business is failing, but I doing good. So I gonna go out there and buy a nice car to show that off. Shit don't make no sense. So you have to be, that one thing that you need is honesty with self. And by having that makes you, in my personal opinion, what I've learned, I'll get into, I would say, my first company, board of directors, board of advisors, international mentors, international network. At the end of the day is honesty. If I know that if I'm not doing good at something, if how much times I sit down with y'all and I say, but Truan, today is my day, bro. You know what I mean? Like, or I say to my advisors, or I say to a board member, babe, I don't know what the hell I'm doing right now. What do you advise for this? Like, not living in that, lying to some people and all that stuff. We would not be where we are if I would just lie, or if I didn't open my mouth, or I didn't say, hey, this is what's really going on. Hey, this is the situation. We don't got to sound like we balling. We don't got to sound like we got to figure it out. We don't got to sound like we got 50 years. We don't have that. So we got to work on what the truth is as people. And if we can do that, if Bahamians can do that, if people in the Caribbean can do that, if people in the world can do that, just honestly, just living your truth, man, we would have a world full of people that's willing to innovate, and we would be, in our country at least, we would be 20 years ahead instead of 20 years behind.
You say truth, I think it's action. In my opinion, I think action is such a commendable trait. Someone who can execute it, similar to what you said, and it ties in with being truthful, but I'm going to put it like this. It's easy to come up with an idea. Yeah. It's easy for me to say, I want to do this with my business. I want to do this with the money. And I think I know what's best. I think everybody at some degree has a level of imagination that gives them that possibility of doing that. However, for me to actually go out there and do it, fail, go back to the drawing board, do it, fail, go back to the drawing board, do it. To repeat that cycle for you don't know how long. You know what I mean? That is without breaking. That for me is all you need. The willing to take action to do something. You could sit down at your job and say, I'm uncomfortable and I want to make X amount of dollars and I want to start this business. Right? You could say all of that. But you 2 years, 3 years, say, yeah, man, what you think? Like, someone taking action, like, just tell me what I need to do, and I go on.
Start today and worry about it
I
tomorrow.
go on, you know what I mean? Like, and a lot of people don't, I think it's unfortunate that people wait until they get into business to learn that, because, again, we're also living in this fairy tale that it's sweet over here. But buddy,
it ain't sweet.
I'll be the first to tell you it's sour. That's sour.
Yeah, it ain't sweet.
It ain't sweet at first. It could be sweet at first, but it can be sour and gone.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just you actually executing what you said that you need to do. And it's okay, like, if you make the wrong decision, like, I need people to get comfortable with that. It's okay if you made the wrong decision. You may think this was the best product. Fine. The fact that you're able to take action, it's for you. You're there.
Yeah, try something else.
You know what I mean? It's just the wrong product, But go back to the drawing board. So as I'm saying, that same cycle of fail, draw. Drawing board, execute, fail, back there, like that. Anybody, because once you stay long enough, I just tell people keep going, B.
Yeah.
I don't care what you do. If you just keep going, things get greater later, B.
And to end this one off, I mean, I guess we'll finish up this episode with, if you got some value from it, if you learned one or two things, or if you heard at least one thing that you thought could benefit somebody else, try to share it. Try to make sure, somebody else knows or can get the valuable information. This is how we can have a better country. This is how we can impact people, ourselves, and this is how we get started into being in an environment that, we all respect and enjoy and is safe and is a better world. So, yeah, man, share the episode. If you enjoyed
Leave
it.
a comment, like, subscribe. You know what to do.
And then too, if you made it here, if you have questions, we have an email in our TikTok and all our bios, etc.
See it in the description below.
Yeah. Send some emails. Ask the questions you got. Maybe we'll answer some questions that people have.
Right here. Actually.
Yeah. So
probably take a segment of just to answer those. So keep them coming. We'll be happy to answer them.
yeah. So
I'm happy.
All right. See you guys in the next episode.